My mother messaged me at 8:43 that night. "You're just jealous and broke. Don't ruin my evening again." No call, no clarification, nothing. Only a short, sharp line fired off like she was flicking lint from her sleeve. I stared at the text twice before putting the phone down beside the stack of bills I'd covered for her that month. Electricity, water, the mortgage, all drafted under my name. That was the moment something inside me finally stopped fighting. 3 days later, when the lights dimmed in the restaurant she'd chosen and her credit cards declined one after another, I let the phone ring, and ring, and ring. My silence, for once, belonged to me. It felt like the only thing that truly did. I'm Ava Collins, and if you asked my family who I am, they'd call me the responsible one, the one with the planner, the one who remembers deadlines, the one who makes sure the house doesn't fall apart. Responsible sounds flattering until you realize that in this family, responsible meant reliable, and reliable soon slid into convenient, and convenient eventually became invisible. Growing up, my mother was obsessed with appearances. Perfect outfits for photos, spotless tables for Sunday dinners, and smiles held just long enough for a camera flash. My younger sister, Chloe, was the star in all of it. Bright, loud, blonde, the kind of girl people naturally gravitated to. Mom adored her, poured praise over her like warm syrup. I used to pretend it didn't bother me that we were treated differently. But even as a kid, I heard the shift in her voice. With Chloe, it was sweetheart, sunshine, darling. With me, it was, can you take care of this? By the time I could legally work, that turned into covering things no one acknowledged. The groceries that mysteriously ended up unpaid. The internet bill no one remembered. Dad's prescriptions when insurance didn't reach far enough. In the beginning, I didn't mind. I told myself it was normal. Families help each other. But eventually, helping became routine, and routine quietly turned into obligation. The day I landed my first full-time accounting job, I expected a little pride, maybe a question about how I liked it. Instead, my mother asked if she could add me to my phone plan for just a month. That month is now 4 years old. The bill still auto-charges to me every cycle. Then it was the car insurance, then the water, then the mortgage, the year Dad's hours were cut at work. Mom always soothed it over with a line she used like a key. "You're good with money, Ava. You know how to juggle things." So every month, I juggled. And every month, they tossed me something else to keep in the air. At a certain point, my paycheck stopped feeling like wages and more like a community fund. Money hit my account on Friday, and by Sunday, half was gone. Automated withdrawals linked to accounts that carried their names but used my card. Meanwhile, Mom paraded us online like we were the picture of independence. "Proud of my hardworking girls," she'd caption our photos. But Chloe hadn't held a job in 2 full years. Every brunch shot she posted from a rooftop bar had my credit card peeking out beneath her hand. And the truth is, I don't think any of them understood the weight they were placing on me. They'd adjusted to the idea that I fixed everything. Problems didn't register anymore, they were simply forwarded to me. Mom asked, I paid. Chloe spent, I compensated. Dad stayed quiet in his tired way. But lately, something inside me had been shifting. Maybe it was turning 29 and realizing how much of my 20s had evaporated into other people's needs. Maybe it was the emptiness in my apartment at the end of every month, knowing that I could manage everybody else's life, but not my own. The night before my mother sent that text, I overheard her talking to my Aunt Diane. She laughed, not the warm kind, but the dismissive kind. "Chloe's thriving. Ava? Oh, she's fine. Ava's always fine." I stood in the doorway unnoticed, holding yet another overdue cable bill in my hand. That sentence stuck to me like glue. She's always fine. It wasn't admiration. It was a dismissal shaped like a compliment. And when her message came the next night calling me jealous and broke, it didn't sting the way it once would have. It only confirmed what I already knew. She didn't see me as a daughter, just the system holding everything together. A system she expected to keep running no matter how much it cost me. Everything snapped the week of her birthday. She chose the restaurant herself, expensive, dimly lit, all white tablecloths and pretentious portions. She texted the group chat, "Dinner at 7, dress nice." I arrived right on time, like I always did. Dad gave me a small half wave, the kind you'd give someone you vaguely recognized. Chloe was already seated in a shimmering gold dress that looked painfully expensive. She kissed Mom on the cheek, laughing loudly at something Mom whispered. "Look who decided to join us," Mom said as I reached the table. "Ava, I honestly wasn't sure you'd step away from work for once." I forced a polite smile. I left early. Menus arrived, but Mom didn't bother looking. She'd already planned everyone's orders ahead of time. Wine came next, and small talk began. Vacations Chloe wanted to take, her new boyfriend, neighborhood gossip, all the usual rehearsed performance. Then the check arrived. The waiter placed the black leather folder on the table like he was setting down a bomb. No one moved. Mom lifted her gaze at me, then at Chloe, then back at me again. "So," she said lightly, swirling her wine, "who's paying tonight?" I felt my stomach clench. I took a breath. "I can cover it if it's needed," I said quietly. "But maybe someone else can take it this time?" Everything stopped. Even the music seemed quieter. Chloe barked a laugh, cold, cutting. You? You couldn't even afford the salad you're eating." Mom smiled, without glancing up. "Oh, sweetheart, not you. You don't have the funds for this." The waiter was right beside me, frozen. People at the next table turned their heads. My face burned, but I stayed still. Chloe leaned in, her smile thin and cruel. "Don't get dramatic, Ava. You always act jealous when things don't revolve around you." Dad shifted uncomfortably, but Mom waved him off, telling the waiter to charge everything to the usual card. My card. The one linked to their account on my bank profile. I watched the waiter swipe it, knowing the transaction alert would hit my phone in seconds. No one thanked me. The conversation resumed like nothing had happened. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't a cycle. They liked it this way. They benefited from it. They wouldn't change because they didn't have to. When we stood to leave, Mom hugged Chloe tightly before turning to me with a sigh. "You really shouldn't make a fuss about money," she murmured, as if I had been the problem. My hands trembled, but I kept my voice steady. "Sure, Mom, whatever you say." On the drive home, I pulled into a gas station. The fluorescent lamps buzzed overhead. I bought a bottle of water and stood beside my car, trying to exhale everything I had swallowed at dinner. My phone lit up. A text from Mom. "Don't ruin my night again. You're just jealous and broke." No periods, no context, just that. I stared at it until the screen dimmed. Somewhere behind me, someone revved their engine, music thumping in the background. I didn't feel anger. I felt done. Absolutely, completely finished. When I got home, I opened the folder on my desk, the one that held every receipt, every statement, every login to the accounts that I've been maintaining. I scrolled through all the payments, utilities, mortgage, car insurance, minimum balances, all of them with my name financially attached, even when they didn't belong to me. For the first time in years, I didn't feel compelled to fix any of it. I closed the folder and sat in the dark until my phone lit up again with the same text message still waiting for a response. And right then, I understood something clearly. The words didn't hurt anymore because they revealed exactly what I needed to do next. The following morning, before sunrise, I woke up in a quiet apartment, a silence that felt different, heavier but honest. For the first time in a long time, I didn't check email. I didn't look at bank alerts. I just sat at the edge of my bed thinking about that dinner, about the way my mother laughed when she called me broke. And that's where everything began to change. I opened my laptop. The glow from the screen filled the room, and one by one, I logged into every account I managed. Utilities, insurance, credit cards, mortgage, every single one had my name listed as primary holder. Their names were just authorized users. It was all right there, black and white. I wasn't just helping them, I was carrying them. My coffee went cold as I stared at the list. Each number on that screen was a reminder of how much of my life I'd poured into theirs. I remembered Mom saying, "You're good with money, Ava. You keep us stable." I used to take that as a compliment. Now it sounded like a confession. I clicked on the phone bill first. The account had 5 lines: Mom, Dad, Chloe, her boyfriend, and me. I hovered over the button that said Remove User. My hand didn't shake. Click. The next screen asked, "Are you sure you want to proceed?" Yes. Electricity account, auto payoff. Water, removed payment method. Mortgage, changed login credentials. Credit card, requested account freeze due to unauthorized use. Each confirmation email that landed in my inbox felt like air coming back into my lungs. It wasn't anger anymore. It was clarity. At one point, the bank app asked me to verify my identity. The rep on the phone was polite, cheerful even. "All right, Miss Collins, just to confirm you're the sole owner of this account?" I almost laughed. "Yes," I said, "that's kind of the problem." When the last account was locked, I sat back and looked around my apartment. The morning light had started to creep in, soft and gold. I hadn't realized how heavy everything had been until I set it down. I thought about calling Mom, telling her what I'd done, but then I remembered her voice at the restaurant, that little smirk she shared with Chloe. I didn't owe them an explanation. I picked up my phone, opened our family group chat, and scrolled past the messages. Birthday plans, grocery lists, "Thanks, Ava," followed by another request for money. I typed a message, then deleted it. No words would do it justice. Instead, I took a deep breath, opened the banking app one more time, and hit the final button. Freeze all linked cards. The confirmation appeared instantly. Account successfully frozen. 5 years of holding everything together, undone in 5 minutes. I closed the laptop. The room was silent again, but this time it didn't feel empty. It felt mine. Outside, the city was just waking up. Somewhere, my mother was probably getting ready for her day, blissfully unaware that the world she'd built on my back had just gone still. And I didn't feel guilty, not even a little. It took 3 days for the silence to break. It started on a Saturday night, Mom's belated birthday dinner, the one she'd been bragging about all week. Chloe had posted pictures of the restaurant's glowing chandeliers and captioned it, "Mom deserves the best." They didn't know yet. I was home eating leftovers on my couch when my phone buzzed once, then again. At first, it was just background noise, something I'd learned to ignore. But then it started coming faster, a dozen messages in under a minute. I didn't check them right away. I knew what they were. At the same time, across town, the dinner was unfolding. I could picture it clearly. Mom in her favorite navy dress, Chloe talking too loud, Dad trying to calm everyone when things went wrong. And they did go wrong. The server came with the check, set it down gently on the table. Mom, confident as ever, handed over her card. My card. It must have taken a second for her smile to falter, then a frown. "I'm sorry," the waiter said quietly. "It's been declined." Mom blinked, confused. "That's impossible. Try again." He did, twice. Same message. Chloe reached into her purse, pulling out her own card. Declined. The server's expression softened in that polite, uncomfortable way that people use when they're watching something fall apart. "Could there be a mistake?" Dad asked, already knowing there wasn't. The manager came over, speaking softly, trying not to draw attention. But in places like that, whispers move faster than sound. Heads started turning. Mom's voice rose. There must be some mix-up. These are active accounts. When the waiter offered to bring another terminal, she snatched the receipt and muttered, "Forget it. I'll call the bank myself." That was probably when she saw the notification on her phone. Account temporarily frozen by primary holder. Primary holder? Me. By the time they left the restaurant, my phone was lighting up non-stop. Calls, texts, voicemails, stacking one after another. "Ava, something's wrong with the cards. Call me right now. Did you change something? Answer the phone." 92 missed calls.
I let it ring. I washed my dishes slowly, the sound of water running over ceramic mixing with the faint buzz of my phone. I wiped the counter, made tea, and sat by the window. From my apartment, I could see the street lights flickering, cars passing, people laughing outside bars. The world kept moving. Another voicemail came in, Mom's voice this time, trembling but still trying to sound in control. Ava, I don't know what's going on, but all the cards are frozen. The mortgage payment bounced. The utilities, too. You need to fix this. This isn't funny. There was a pause, a shaky breath. Please call me back. I didn't. Instead, I opened my bank app and checked the balances. Everything exactly where it should be. No one could touch it now. A few hours later, Chloe texted me directly. You've gone too far. You're making Mom look stupid.
I stared at the screen and typed, "She did that herself," then deleted it. No point. Around midnight, Dad finally tried. His message was shorter. "Your mother's upset. We'll figure this out tomorrow." Tomorrow? That was always the answer. Tomorrow, they'd fix it. Tomorrow, they'd start caring. Tomorrow, I'd go back to being the one who solved everything. But there wouldn't be a tomorrow like that anymore. I turned my phone face down and sat there in the dim light of my kitchen. The kettle clicked softly as it cooled. For the first time, I didn't feel anxious waiting for their calls. I felt calm. Somewhere across the city, the house would be quiet now. No TV humming, no lights glowing. Bills would pile up, and the system that kept their world spinning would finally stop. Mom once said, I'd never understand what power really was. She was right. I hadn't until now. By Sunday morning, the calls had stopped. I woke up to sunlight spilling across the floor and a phone full of unread messages. I didn't open them. The quiet felt heavy at first, then strangely peaceful, like a room after the music's been turned off and your ears are still adjusting. I made coffee, sat at my small kitchen table, and scrolled through my own accounts. The numbers looked simple for once, just mine. Rent, groceries, gas, no extra names, no shared bills, no guilt. It felt almost unreal seeing my life reduced to what actually belonged to me. A voicemail popped up from Mom. I pressed play. Ava, we didn't realize how much you handled. The bank said only you can unlock the accounts. Can we please talk? We just need to pay a few things. Call me, okay? Her voice cracked near the end, that familiar mix of command and desperation. I let it play twice, then deleted it. No anger, no satisfaction, just calm. Later, I went for a walk around the block. The air was cool, the kind of spring air that smells faintly of rain and new leaves. A couple walked by holding hands, laughing. A kid on a bike nearly ran into me, and his mom apologized over her shoulder. I smiled and said it was fine, and I meant it. Back at my apartment, I sat by the window again, same spot as the night before. The city hummed outside, a low, steady sound that reminded me I wasn't alone, even if I felt that way. Sometimes I thought about everything, the dinners, the jokes, the endless payments, the way Mom used to pat my hand and say, "You're good with money, you'll figure it out." She wasn't wrong. I did figure it out, just not the way she expected. The truth is, I didn't freeze the accounts to punish them. I did it to free myself, to finally stop proving my worth in dollars and receipts. My phone buzzed once more. Another message from Mom. "We'll figure it out," she wrote. "This time, I'm proud of you, even if you don't believe it." I stared at it for a moment, then locked the screen. Some doors don't need to be slammed to close. I poured another cup of coffee and looked out at the city. The light hit the buildings in that soft, golden way that makes everything look cleaner, newer. They called me jealous and broke, but I'm neither. I'm just done paying the price for their comfort and finally at peace with the silence that followed. If this story hit close to home, tell me in the comments. Have you ever had to draw a line with your own family? Your story matters here, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next.